let's start speaking about generative AI in organizations, so generative AI for business. Lynn inspired us with a wonderful representation of what generative AI can do in creative, in product development, in business plans, and in marketing and other use cases. And this is, of course, inspirational. But we also have to remember that current decision-making in enterprises mostly based on gut feelings. So Gartner says only 20% of decision-making is based on data and analytics. And when I say data, is mostly data which is stored in databases, warehouses, data lakes, what we usually refer in industry as structured data. So we're on the brink of generative AI, and of course, OpenAI is spearheading the evolution under a strong Microsoft brand support, as we saw in the first presentation, also in the second one. But corporations must address data quality and governance challenges before applying advanced generative AI tools to their landscapes. Otherwise, we end up with even more expensive version of garbage in, garbage out, because with organizational data, think about financial transactions, supply chain, logistics, it's very hard to actually verify the answers if the answers are correct. So garbage in, garbage out on scale. Organizations need to reassure trust in corporate data and analytics while enabling the hyper-automation wave scale by generating domain-specific interpretation and augmented governance. So now we are going to speak today about three major topics in this session. So first of all, opportunities. What are the opportunities in corporate data and analytics with generative AI? Second is the challenges. What are the actual challenging to implementing large language models and other generative AI tools in corporates? And third, how implementing generative AI can scale your data practice. So first of all, of course, to onboard any journey, you need incentive. You need to understand why you even go to this route. And the numbers are astonishing. So industry analysts mentioned that only in 3 years, we are going to have 25% of revenue generation of Fortune 500 companies coming either from data product or service. Imagine quarter of Fortune 500 revenues are going to come from data or generated by data, probably with totally new monetization models that we have right now. But we need specific type of innovation to enable that. Generative AI supports and accelerates this type of innovation. And we already see in the recent earnings calls of public traded companies that more and more CEOs mention generative AI in an AI project in the earnings calls as one of their business imperatives. But where the real innovation is happening is bottom up. So we have numbers from McKinsey that 50% of employees using generative AI this way or another. I actually have numbers that 95% of white-collar employees in the US already use generative AI with their knowledge or without. As Mohammed mentioned, it could be part of your Zoom application, take it notes. It could be part of emails that you, OPR announcement, which are coming from your management and generated by generative AI and so on and so forth. So generative AI is already widely used in enterprises, and it's going to be more and more business imperative going forward. And if you are missing more validation about your business case, McKinsey actually states we have 4 trillion reasons to believe in generative AI. So 4 trillion is the GDP of Great Britain. And this is the estimated value of generative AI in enterprises where McKinsey has only addressed go-to-market functions, meaning use cases in customer success and marketing and sales. And this doesn't even take into consideration core business use cases. What generative AI can do to field technicians, what generative AI can do to crop irrigation, what generative AI can do to life sciences and drug invention. So the number is probably even bigger. And what's even more astonishing, the generative AI has a potential of 15 to 40% improvement even on top of AI, which means companies which are still laggards in this area and are not into data science or ML and AI are missing even greater opportunities with generative AI. But also generative AI could be this huge jump or leap of faith where companies who might be skipping data science and machine learning due to huge investments in labor, in skills and hirings right now can actually do with tools, right? All of that sounds amazing, but there is always a but. Okay, so who has organizational ban for generative AI? And usually I would you would ask it out loud from the audience, but in this format we will just go with official numbers. So according to the research which was done by CDOIQ, a data quality and analytics organization in US, 25% of US corporates have banned, the actually forbidden usage of generative AI in the organization for the time being, till they have policies in place, till they have selected the right tools, managed risk, have compliance program, and so on and so forth. But the good news that 35% of the companies already started to write the policies. So policies, of course, is the first step. You cannot make people to obey the policies, but at least you have this common guidelines, which is coming from the enterprise as the guiding component. So let's see where the risks are lying. Many risks in organizations are associated with security. So basically understanding if you're using bad code, which was generated by the engine, and it could be actually malicious, it could be virus introduced, and it's maybe not safe to run. That's one security reason. And if your employees are actually been interviewed by their skills or just generating their responses as online excitement, there's also something to consider. Security is great concern about what is being leaked and where. If you do not use enterprise editions of different online services, which supposed to keep your data within your own context, you actually have risk of your data being leaked into general availability, like it happened in Samsung case, as Lynn stated in her presentation. So this is for security. What about privacy? Yeah, you're asking, my employees are asking specific data questions about, for example, what is the salary of employee XYZ? And if the service is connected to your database, this is actual private information which could leak into general availability service. This is something we need to prevent, of course. And quality. So quality, I think, even the biggest one, because if we can rely on providers like Azure, for example, or other big clouds, AWS, to actually make the AI services secure and separate enterprise experience within its own content, and also restrict PII access, all of that, it actually could be handled on the side of generative AI provider. What can be handled, what cannot be handled on their side and should be handled within enterprises, within companies, is the following. Are there any biases in the system? So for example, we have hiring a history where we have a predominance of specific demographics. It's going to be reflected in the analytics, which is coming from generative AI applied on your organizational data. Or for example, people acting on the answers without validating them and assuming it's good enough. Or for example, hallucinations. So hallucinations is actually a huge one. You expect model which is trained on Wikipedia or Twitter to understand your organizational data. Yesterday I had this great conversation with a huge company in US, and they operate field employees over different building equipment. So of course they have own terminology. trucks are called vehicles, and they're divided by different weight categories and so on and so forth. They have specific company lingo, and where the technicians would be asking system, how should I fix this or that defect in the truck? The answer is supposed to be context specific. So it's not an answer which is coming from internet. This is answer which is supposed to come from the data which is stored in the company. And it's supposed to understand terminology, abbreviations, synonyms, which are used naturally between employees of the company. How would you expect general foundational models to tackle that? And Mohanad rightfully mentioned that it's possible to customize models, but the thing is, with foundational models, they're trained on so many data. So just training them on one company-specific data does not necessarily change the weights, even if you use techniques like RAGs, so hallucinations. And of course, not understanding how models are trained. So for example, in marketing use cases, it's pretty easy to spot whether the text is in line from your expectations or not. In analytics, especially in analytics which involves mathematical functions, you cannot really rely on generative AI without validation yet. So what we can do? Of course, the life cycle of generative AI starts with input-output interface, right? It could be a conversational application. It could be a Slack. It could be a chatbot. It could be your Teams, for example, or dedicated business application. When you ask the questions, what you cannot control, again, is your model, which is your service provider, whether it's ChatGPT, whether it's Bedrock on AWS, Titans, and so on and so forth. It's a black box. You cannot really fine-tune that, right? What you can do is to validate the output. But then, aren't we going to the same experience that we had with BI and analytics dashboards, where for every answer, you need analysts who actually models the answer and presents it to you and interprets and check the quality and so on and so forth. So this is not experience that I would like to have with generative AI. Generative AI experience is kind of chat, right? You're supposed to ask questions and get prompt answers very quickly, and of course also right answers. So validating every answer is not experience we're aiming for. So what I can do is apply a technique, which is called input filtering and prompt adjustment. So it has to do with prompt governance, prompt interpretation, and also prompt validation. So what I mean by that is the following. Imagine that you're asking a question like, what's my sales in Germany? And in many of organizations, sales are actually described differently in the financial system and in the customer care system, not always aligned by definitions or by terminology. So the system is supposed to interact back with you and not just give you a random answer, but interact and ask you, did you mean sales by what is recognized by purchase order? Or did you mean sales which are recognized by established accounts in your system? Something like that. And then you specify which sales did you meant. And system is able to find the correct data to your question and translate it to what we call automated context, RAG. Okay. So the system is automatically creating RAG. This is basically your organizational business context, meaning that translating the question from the question language to the general language, for example, SQL code. Okay, and this is sent to any black box generative AI service from foundational models. This process actually enables you to have hallucination-free prompting on enterprise data. And this is also what we do at Illumex. So if you're interested to hear more, feel free to contact me directly. Work with financial industry, with banking, insurance, government agencies, and many more. And generative AI is going beyond chatbots on document. Generative AI goes into the field of data and analytics. Gartner recognized this area and called semantic AI. And if you will have one thing to remember from this presentation is it's possible to govern the inputs of organizational prompting on databases, and it's possible to get hallucination-free answers. So don't be afraid to implement those scenarios in your companies. And so what we talk today is the following. First of all, embracing the changes, learning like we have in presentation of Lynn, of Muhammad, learning, educating yourself of the art of possible, and it's something new every day. It's it's amazing what happened to this industry, and I must say I didn't see change like that since internet, since 2000, where we have e-commerce boom due to internet availability. And since then, we still did not have experience of seeing such a strong pull from business side to implementing new technology. So business side who demanding the innovation, business side who is concerned with the implications. And we as data practitioners and AI leaders supposed to give them reliable and scalable infrastructure to do so. Second is set your policies. Policies examples already available widely, and the security teams already equipped with best practices. If you need example of those, I can send it to you. Just reach out and I can share it. And third is starting deploying your prompt experience for your employees, but implement governance first. You have to handle governance, automated governance, in addition to policies, because you cannot rely that employees are going to follow policies on blind. So implement automated governance, and good luck with your implementations. Thank you so much for your time. Anyone has any questions?
Yeah, hello. Yeah, I had a question. Thank you. It was a very good presentation about this what you mentioned about having the confidence and making sure that the laws and everything is because for that, as I was presenting as well, it's very important. But just one question, because we are very close to this. How are you keeping pace with the new things? And I know it is very tough to know, because what I feel that the governments and the organizations are still figuring out. It is something very new. The politicians are still figuring out what is this technology. And as I was telling you, right, who is the owner of this? So what are your thoughts? How is it going to mature? Will it take some more time like the internet took, or what are your thoughts on that? Because right now, many companies are still thinking, is it okay to use? Is it because who is the owner of this? No one knows. Like suppose you are generating a particular image or a particular content, we are using the work of a lot of people to do that. So ideally, are you the owner, or is someone else the owner? So what are your thoughts on these laws, and how long would it take it to mature and be something like the internet is right now?
Yeah, so amazing question. Amazing question. So, for example, as we heard the examples of marketing materials or Coca-Cola product or T-shirts. So, generative AI is trained on public data, and this public data belongs to someone. And using Midjourney, to generate all of that, it could be risky, because you're actually implementing someone else's training material to create your own product. Right, so we have new generation of solutions. So, for example, for images, and our company which is called BRIA, B-R-I-A, who actually have ability to reverse engineer different pictures and understand which data was taken into consideration, and set up the commercial agreement. So basically, like you use royalty images and you pay for them. So when images are generated by generative AI, you can actually pay if there is identified source being used in the part of the training. So this is something which we already see, that you can actually legally pay and may actually make sure that the IP lies within your company when you have all commercial side already handled. This is for starters. Second of all, in DPA privacy policies of different services. For example, for Azure OpenAI release, you have Enterprise Edition, where it's clearly stated that all IP generated from the service belongs to you, and you can also limit it which data is taken into training. So specifically on enterprise data, if you connect, for example, OpenAI from Azure on top of your warehouse, you actually secured that this model is going to take into consideration your data only. But of course, there is some logic embedded in neural nets. And right now, it's it's officially improved also by US and EU. I think it will be further developments in this stage as well. So for example, in our company, we have knowledge graphs about different industries, so banking, financial, pharma, and so on and so forth. So when we onboard customers, we actually enrich the experience with business questions which they never asked, because it's prompting is very hard to actually know which questions are possible to ask, especially on the business side. Business users not always know what to ask. So we suggest them which best questions to ask. And those questions are coming from Illumex's proprietary IP, right? But then the answers belong to our customers. And this is clearly stated in our agreements, in our MSA agreements. So whatever customer produces from the questions which is suggested to them, the answers are their own property. So everyone should track very carefully the MSA agreements and the DPA agreements. So legal will be still busy. I know that the legal in the first presentation was on this higher automation scale, but I think legal, which checks generative AI agreements, is going to be busy over the next years. And everyone should check the agreements where the position of the IP generated from the usage belongs to. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, thank you very much, Ina. It was very insightful. Thank you.
Hello, is there any other question? Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your valuable time. I would just urge the audience that is there anyone who would want to ask any question last 2 minutes? We'll wait.
Well, wait, we are more than welcome to connect to my LinkedIn, and I really like the social conversation that we have on this platform. I think it's very valuable for community because everything is open, everything is public. This is what's wonderful about LinkedIn. Even if you connect to a person that you're not connected before, unlike different Slack communities, you can see all the value created beforehand. And I'm going to connect to Muhammad's community for sure. It sounds amazing. So this is the benefit of events like that, to interconnect and learn from each other.
Yes, ma'am, I connect with you, ma'am, completely. It is a beneficial thing for us to connect with each other and grow this online community, and sometimes get offline also and share our valuable knowledge.